I'm going to do number 2 of the proposition 2 of book 1 of World as Will, this idea of the first aspect. That which knows all things and is known by none is the subject. The subject is known by none, but knows all things. Accordingly, it is the support of the world and is the condition of all phenomena of the object. For whatever exists only for the subject. I agree, yes. Everyone finds himself to be this subject, but only in so far as he knows, not insofar as he is an object of knowing. But his very body is object, so that even that from this point of view we call idea. For the body is an object among objects and must submit to the laws of objects, although it is an immediate object. Like all laws of objects, though it is an immediate object, like all objects of perception, it lies within the forms of knowledge, time and space, through which there is a plurality. The subject, on the contrary, which is always the knower, never the known, does not come under these forms, but has always been rather presupposed by them, so as it has neither plurality nor its opposite unity. We never know it, but we never know anything is known. It is the knower. So then we're basically talking about the subject and the object here, and he kind of goes to discuss more of why the two components are the two halves of idea. One half is the object, forms of which are space and time, and through these plurality. The other half is subject, which is not in space and time, for it is the whole and undivided in every percipient being, so that any one percipient being together with the object constitutes the whole world as idea just as fully as do the existing millions. But if this one were to disappear, then the world as idea would cease to be. Alright, so one half we have object, which is bound spatio-temporally, which means my body is object. He kind of discusses this through the whole first part of this. My body is object, but then we also have the other part of idea is subject, which is myself, but the part of me that is not bound spatio-temporally. It's not bound spatio-temporally at all. But then, he says that these two things are not separable. They are inseparable. They are where the subject ends, the object begins. Where the object ends, the subject begins. This I disagree with. Now, that's mostly because I'm a theist and I'm a Christian, so my thoughts are that the body definitely sure is an object, and the subject is something that is totally separate. So yeah, this is pretty much. I am a dualist when it comes to the ontology of the human self. So what my thought is just that I disagree with the fact that the subject is inseparable from the body. And he also says that there's no subject without object, there's no object without subject. But I think that there's no object without subject, but there is a subject without the object. There can be. So the mutuality of the limitations shown by our being able to discover and fully know the essential and hence universal forms of all object, where space, time, and causality, even when without knowledge of the object itself, a point of departure is a subject. That is to say, the Kantian language, they lie a priori in our consciousness. So he's talking about how all that is a priori, and then Then he talks about the principle of sufficient reason. Taking this further, I maintain that the principle of sufficient reason is a collective term for all these forms of the object for which we are a priori conscious. That is, and that therefore, all that we know purely a priori is nothing but the content of that we know the content that principle which follows from it. In it, all our certain a priori knowledge is expressed. In my essay on the fourfold root of the principle of sufficient reason, I have shown in detail how every possible object is subordinate to it. That is, stands in necessary relation to other objects, and on one hand as determined, on the other hand as determining. So, what's going on in this last part here? He's talking about the principle of sufficient reason. And what's going on there is mostly that things stand in necessary relation to themselves, or to other things. So, I have a video talking about Schopenhauer's fourfold roots of the principles of sufficient reason. There's a video down there. There's also another video talking about what the principle of sufficient reason really is, and talking about it, and having another video about determinism and all that. But mostly, it means that there are explanations for things. If I choose to act, if I choose to make this decision to buy some beer, then there's a reason for why that happened, and there's a reason for, or if I don't do that, then there's a reason why I didn't. So that's mostly what happened in this second thing here. He talks about object and subject, the two halves of the idea, and talks about how that stuff is a priori and the principle of sufficient reason and all that. But that's pretty much all. And I'll come back with probably the third one, maybe others. And then I'm coming towards the standpoint of idealism, a different part of it. But anyway, I'll see you then.